Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Canadian eRacing channel here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Austin. I'm joined by Avery McDonald, and Dennis Branch is in the production. We are here live at Watkins, Glen for a wonderful race today. Avery, how you doing? And welcome to the series.
Oh, I am fantabulous. We got a stacked field tonight for the Canadian e-racing challenge, and personally, one of my favorite tracks, Austin, Watkins Glen, here on the circuit. It's gonna be a fun race. It's gonna be very exciting. I can't wait for it.
It definitely is a Canadian e-racing challenge, not channel, like I thought it said. Is definitely going to be a very close one. We were watching these guys in practice as we're currently in qualifying. It's very tight up at the front of the field. Top 11 all within a second of each other, and all of them in very closely competing cars. And we got a big spread of cars. You got Mercedes in here, BMWs, Ferrari, one McLaren. And Audi's in here as well, but it's mostly a Mercedes field, which the Mercedes on iRacing is very popular, especially around Watkins Glen.
Yeah, we got Farouk Manzar, the longtime iRacing member. I've watched Farouk race for probably the last 8 years. It's no surprise that he's on front with out in front, but he's in that BMW, so it's a little bit of surprise there, Austin.
Yeah, the BMW, it's got a resurgence, especially with these new tire models. It's known for being quite easy on the driver and very competitive, especially at Nürburgring, which we are not going to. But it's a very popular car here on iRacing and the last of this current season. But I really want to see how all these drivers compare and if they're allowed to switch cars throughout the season, which I don't believe they are, since once you really learn a car, you just don't want to leave it. And Farouk in that BMW is just one of the same because I've always seen him in a BMW.
Yeah, the BMW is a very popular car, but it's BMW, and then it's Mercedes all the way down to 11th. Take a look at Gavin Sanders, the SPI Sanders Motorsports. Mercedes trying to catch up to Farouk, and it's just over a tenth of a second slower than Farouk, and gets a good run through that bus stop there. And really, that's a part of the track where you just need to be quick through. It's a very quick part of the track. Well, you take a look at the Curtis Fox. You got a good battle here. Curtis Fox up in 9th. Also in the Mercedes, Gavin Sanders really trying to get a good time in. He's he's done very well so far. He's got a good I rating. It's, that SPI Sanders Motorsports. Now we're looking at Martin Crisp of the. Back to Gavin Sanders. Curtis Fox, that driver, the number 10. Just under 0.6 of a second down from the fastest. We have a new quick time. It's McKenzie in the number 42. I tell you, he put on a great lap, just under a tenth of a second quicker than Farouk Manzar. But we still have a very tight field, like we said. Well, top 11 drivers within a second. Fox with a new quick time with the 146 flat. Drivers are trying to get their last lap in. And see Farouk Manzar on his out lap. He's going to try to best that time and take over the pole with just under 2 minutes to go in this open qualifying session. Drivers have multiple chances to run the fastest lap they can, unlike a 1 or 2 lap qualifying session. So these drivers are really trying to put down a good time. Manzar had a decent sector 2 and 3 on this out lap. He's going to come and take the green flag for his final lap of the session. See that nice iRacing official holding that green flag. Really, that model he's got a good look. I'm really impressed with the model. He's got a good driver suit on as an official. Manzar,
Oh,
really.
very wide, and he's clipped the grass, and I think that's going to invalidate his time. But Farouk's going to spend the last minute of this, still going around the track. Never going to give up, and just going to use this end of the session as a practice end. And Farouk Manzar, the Corvette runner, currently in real life, uh, in the Pirelli GT Sprint series. He is currently sitting in the front row and just barely behind of Matt Kronk.
And what I like about Farouk, you're right. He's never going to give you up. And I tell you one thing, he's never going to let you down, even if he gets an incident on that last lap. Farouk, great driver. Looks like he's going to be starting P2 if that incident that happened. If you get an incident on the qualifying lap, that's going to disallow your lap for any of our new viewers here. So that's why you want to get a clean lap in qualifying so that lap can count.
I'm okay, I swear.
All right, qualifying has finished here at the Watkins Glen for this Canadian eRacing Challenge with a stacked field with a lot of professional driving experience. This could be a battle that we don't get to see very often here, so we're real thankful for the opportunity here at Apex Racing TV to cover this amazing event.
Yep, 31 cars here on the grid for the Canadian iRacing Challenge. Is one of the cars that's went smack into the wall. Currently looking at a few drivers who are finishing up their laps right now. Here's Remo Rescuti, a 26-year-old from Vancouver, British Columbia, for driving for Catalyst Driver Development, and he currently competes in IMSA.
And there's that checker flag waving for him, and that his final lap of this qualifying session. Can he best his time? Just barely, but not enough for 7th place.
Just barely missing it out by 600ths of a second. We're seeing more drivers come across the line right now. A new personal best sector 1 for Fox, but he's unable to improve as he went off the track. And
A couple drivers left on the track.
The last car to go across, he puts in a 1:47.233, 1.4 seconds off the pace of Mac at the front. And that is qualifying over for us here at Watkins Glen. And you know what time it is? It's my favorite time. It's time to go racing.
It is time to get them cars fired up and go around this amazing 11-turn racetrack, one of the most iconic racetracks in all of motorsports. And today we have the Canadian eRacing Challenge live here on Apex Racing TV. They're going to bring all the action, and I'm excited for this, Austin. It's going to be great.
Indeed, it is. First round out of 4 here at Watkins Glen. Next round is around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, then Mid Ohio, and then we're finishing off at Mosport. A great final round. But here is your starting grid. Max Franke for Core Sport, Ronan Sim Racing. He's going to be starting up on pole. 25 from Ridgeway, Ontario, and the SPC series. He competed in the 2013-2014 Skip Barber Racing Cool Series, Mazda MX-5 Rookie of the Year in 2014, one win, multiple podiums in 2015, SCCA Majors and Runoff B-Spec Mini Cooper, 4 wins, 6 poles, a Southeastern Conference champion in 2015, Pirelli World Challenge Motorsport B-Spec Mini Cooper, 2nd place driver. Massive. A lot of stats for our pole sitter, and he's followed on the front row by Farouk Manzar, the 29-year-old from Mississauga, Glen, Ontario for Manzar Motorsports. Bridgestone Racing Academy driver, race license, 5 wins, and track record at Motorsport. So we expect him to be a threat on the final round. He's also a competitor in the GT1 division of Pirelli GT Sprints and CS Time Attack champion, multiple wins in 2019 and 2018, defending 2-time world champion. And they're followed by Gavin Sanders, who is 17-year-old from Ontario. He was supposed to be making his debut this year in F1600, but very, very exciting to see him here. One of the youngest, I believe, yeah, one of the youngest competitors here. And starting right next to him is the oldest competitor here in 4th place is Martin Crisp. 55 years old from Toronto, Ontario, crispy esports driver, and he drives in the CTCC. They're followed by Andrew Waring, Curtis Fox, Oliver Bedard, Remo Rascuti, Stefan Radzinski, Justin D, Scott Hargrove, Adam Isman in 12th place behind him is Travis Hill, Nathan Block, Daryl Timmers, Jacob Exton, Erwin James, Trevor Hill, Zachary Vanar, Kurt Whitmer, Sam Fellows, John Christophe Trahan, Craig Anderson, who is not from Florida, but when he made the account, he was in Florida. But he's actually Canadian. He's joined with Dominic Dumas right beside him in 24th. And in the back of the grids, it's Bill Swears, Craig Daly, Kevin King, Yannick Lupin, Ross Sortino, Jen Gray, and at the back of the grid, it's Alex Federico. And that is your grid here for the opening round of the Canadian eRacing Challenge. And it did say channel, so I wasn't going crazy. Okay.
I tell you what, rolling start. This could get exciting here, Austin. You know, you got to get a good start here for this amazing race we're about to have. Try to get as many positions as you can on the start, and then get in that rhythm. Kind of like I always say, put your head down and drive. We'll just watch these drivers as they get ready to take off for the Watkins Glen International.
Drivers going through the boot right now. Currently a bit spread out. They have a few more corners to navigate with, and with a bunch of these I like to call them North American tracks here in New York and Mid-Ohio, Motorsport and Gilles Villeneuve, which next round, and I'm going to be honest, 3 of these 4 tracks fit a American category. Gilles Villeneuve is a weird one. I'm not going to count Gilles Villeneuve in this, but this is a typical North American track. Very narrow, very windy through the hills, and very just fun to watch. And it's going to be and grass runoffs. That's why Gilles Villeneuve doesn't work. It's going to be very fun, very treacherous. Turn 1 here is going to be a key, especially on this rolling start. And then it's the race up to the boot. But the Porsche safety car is coming in to the pits right now. The field's backing up. You can see them backing off on the brakes. They're going to be a very bunched start. Matt Kronitz is holding the pole right now. The Porsche safety car pulls off. The hearts are rising. The revs are rising as we're going to race it here at Watkins Glen. And it's a great start up front. Max leads it very nicely. Manzar takes a very defensive line going into turn 1 as well. He's being challenged by Greg Sanders right there. Sanders drops back in as we're flying up the S's right now. We're going too wide in the midfield right now. But Farouk, and we got a car spun around. Radzinski, Rascuti, Bezard, and we got a car in the wall as well. And that was Greg Sanders in the wall.
Yeah, what a treacherous part of this track is the beginning of that track is going through the S's, turns 3 and 4.
There's even more carnage in the background. Cars are flying up in the air, and it's a parking lot back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think like 11 cars were involved in that opening incident. So much has happened at the front of this race. But up at front, Max Croney and Farouk Manzar, Andrew Waring, Martin Crisp, and Scott Hargrove are your top 5.
The other drivers need to take a deep breath. You know, this was a busy lap with a lot of cars flying. You know, I lost track of how many cars went for a round there. Farouk Manzar looking
Almost
to the right
around.
side.
And down the inside, Farouk Manzar throws it into the heel, and he's now side by side with Mark Crocky. But Mac down onto the inside in one of the trickiest sections. Got to be very careful on your throttle back. You see the lights flashing in that BMW trying to get it in his head, but they're nose to tail right now at the end of one lap here at Watkins Glen. 40 minutes to go here to start off the season. What a crazy start to the series.
Yeah, this track is known for the crazy starts. You see Farouk trying to hold off Andrew Waring in that number 11 Mercedes. You know, like we kind of said earlier, Farouk has, you know, been on iRacing a long time, but you can't count out the other competitors as we take a look at our replay.
Gavin gets into the back of him, and that's 2, 3 car, 4 cars involved in there. That is just unfortunate.
Yeah, you know, you said it earlier about how tight this track is, and you know, these drivers are going to have to deal with that the next couple weeks here at Mid-Ohio and Gilles Villeneuve. And you know, here at Watkins Glen, you have, you know, a couple passing opportunities. These drivers are really trying to settle in, but Farouk is putting the pressure on Mac.
Yeah, Farouk just dancing on his gearbox, but remember, he's got to have to worry about Waring, because Waring's a silent but deadly type right here, and he's just dancing on him right now, watching what Farouk does and hoping for a little bit of luck in his way, and that's the kind of thing that you expect from the 26-year-old. Right behind him, a little bit down the field, Nathan Block. He's at the back of this 3-person fight between Rosicki and D.
Yeah, good battles all the way around the track. This is your battle for 6th position there. You see Nathan Block, that 33 car. You know, he's got a good start, up 6 spots. Not our hard charger yet, but has the potential to become the hard charger. New fast lap for the day for Mac in that number 42. Started at P1 after 2 laps. He's still your leader. So with that 0.3 of a second lead over Farouk Manzar, you know, he's got a good start.
Yeah, for also pulling out from Waring. Waring got the best turn 1 right there. I saw him go a bit wide, and now Farouk still dancing on that bumper and trying to intimidate Cronky.
You know, it's a 40-minute race. That's kind of on the edge of, you know, kind of the sprint race to a little bit. I wouldn't call it endurance, just a longer sprint race. So, you know, Farouk's probably just, you know, taking his time, waiting for a mistake. You know, hopefully for him, he can make a mistake. But, you know, with this amount of time left, he's not pushing it.
Yeah, definitely. This is the exact length. Actually, it's a bit shorter by 5 minutes. This is a dive by Justin Benedetto. Looking down the inside, but unfortunately, door was closed on him as Rosicki went all the way to the bottom as well. And these two are going at it on lap 3. I was about to say that the 40-minute time frame is very close to the VRS Sprint Series here on iRacing, which is the closest thing that we get to the GT3's actual series in real life with the 45-minute sprint races that we got. They also have a endurance side as well.
As you did notice, right in front of him, there was a driver that blinked. That's a connection issue. That's you know, that's part of eRacing is, you know, having a connection issue. So that is what happened there. New quick time for Waring. You know, started P5 up 2 spots, getting that quick time just a little bit quicker than Manzar.
Farouk, I can reach out and just grab onto the bumper of that big Mercedes right there. He thought the Beamer was big. I think the Mercedes is even bigger. And now Farouk side by side with him. We're going to have a New York style drag race heading into the boot. Who's going to be last of the late breakers? Farouk almost getting onto the bumpers. They're hopping over the curb as Max is getting a little bit loose. See that rear end dancing around, and joining them, Andrew Waring, new fastest lap of the race holder on the back. And we got a 1-2-3 sandwich right now as we head into the boot. And Farouk's being pushed out wide, and here comes Andrew Waring trying to join in on their hop up into second place as we're heading into the toe. Farouk and looking down to the inside, and he's going to regain back P2. Waring was in a very, very dangerous spot right there around the outside, and he just let Farouk have it.
What a power move by Waring, waiting for Manzar, but then you just let him have it. You know, it's early in the race. You don't want to wreck the car yet. So, you know, for him, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. He knows there's going to be another opportunity. And then Chris, with that Chris paint scheme, rolling up into fourth. Don't shout out the oldest competitor in the field.
Yeah, Martin Crisp is certainly has age with experience. Oldest driver in the field, 55 years old. Qualified fourth, sitting in fourth, behind the driving coach of Andrew Waring. And
you know,
these top four guys, different level.
He's relatively new to iRacing. He's only been on iRacing for about a year ago, but he won, you know, 3 races on his first season. And I'm gonna go with 55 years young. He's still a young buck for a lot of people's eyes. So, you know, having a great race up to fourth is Di Benedetto trying to make a move on sixth. Also another Mercedes.
Mercedes is the most popular car being used right out here. So we're looking at Justin Di Benedetto right behind Radzinski. These two are still going at it as they're flying themselves through the bus stop chicane. Oh, we got a car wide. Who's that? Number 25 going very slow. That'll be a Daryl Timmers, I believe.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. You know, the one thing I'm really impressed so far about this, Austin, you take a look at our, you know, the driver information that we've been provided. A lot of these drivers have karting experience, and they're getting, you know, an opportunity. Yes, it is e-racing, but getting that opportunity to get in the race car, you know, kind of, you know, show a little bit what they can do.
Definitely, karting is where most drivers start their careers. Where I started my career, and it's probably the best way to get noticed. And also, some of these are a lot of ice racing competitors as well. Being from Texas, I have no idea what ice is, but I'm pretty sure it's cold.
I tell you what, ice is cold. You know, I've done a little ice racing on the four-wheeler in my day, but, you know, not very much. I'm not a big fan of the cold, but I live pretty, you know, not as north as Canada, but, you know, I live in a cold environment. You take a look at a nice overtake opportunity for Hargrove into block, and a little contact there with Exton, it looks like.
Next in that Braun GP liveried Mercedes. Beautiful car looking right there. Jacob Exton looked down to the inside, and then unfortunately got his nose chopped by a block. And so we got a 3-way fight between Fox, Radzinski, and Di Benedetto. So they're going side by side into the bus stop chicane. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Looks like Radzinski tried to make the move, and Fox just held him off.
Yeah, Fox had a, you know, very well defended passing attack there. You know, that's, you know, one thing these drivers, you know, have to get accustomed with. You know, it's, you know, these drivers are gonna, you know, not maybe so much experience on iRacing, but so they might get a little aggressive. But, you know, we saw a little earlier where, you know, just giving away that Waring did to Manzar. So, you know, we're really seeing a kind of a different strategy from a couple different drivers.
Yeah, Curtis Fox, 30, from Newmarket, Ontario, for Pro Racing Ontario. He's actually the owner and operator for Pro Racing Ontario kart racing team plus motorsports development team. 2019 Cup Kart Grand National Champion, Newcastle Motorsports Park winner. 2002 to 2009 multiple karting champion, national and international champion competition. From 2007, vice champion for Formula Car Magazine F2000 Championship, and Skip Barber Regional Series podium finisher. So Fox is a stacked competitor, and he knows how to keep it ahead of these guys.
One thing for some of our viewers out here that may be new to Apex Racing TV, maybe you don't see some of your drivers in the top 20, go take a look at the live timing, which you can see in the description of this video, so you can take a look at all 31 competitors here at Watkins Glen International.
Back up front between Cronky and Manzar. These two guys are very dicey, but they're also joined by Crisp and Waring. These top four miles ahead of the competition by 10 seconds.
Yeah, such a great battle, 1, 2, 3 right there. But Crisp is also right there. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 battle we have for the battle for first. And with only 11:45 into this 40-minute race, we still have plenty of time for some more action.
Yeah, top four filled with the youngest competitor in the field, tied youngest competitor in the field, and the oldest competitor in the field. So tons of experience in this top four, and it's going to be very impressive to see on how they go throughout this race. Down the field into the top 10 in the battle for 8. About from 9th place between Block and Exton. They had a little bit of contact at the start of this lap. Looks like they swapped places as well as they're continuing their way out of the heel.
Yeah, Nathan tried to flash the lights to catch Exton, off guard a little bit. Didn't quite work for him there. Drivers are using that flashlight button on their either steering wheel button box or whatever they have set up for them to try to confuse the competitors. Farouk Manzar, new quick time, almost into the 159 bracket, but almost there. Another quick time for a couple drivers for their best time.
And Waring and Chris are falling off the pace of Cronky and Manzar. So they need to get off the back foot and catch up to these two guys. As going into turn 1 and through the S's, they got a little bit held up right there.
Yeah, about last lap was about a 0.3 of a second difference between 1, 2, and 3 and 4. So that that kind of caused that little gap, but plenty of time to to catch up there as long as they can put their head down, put down some good laps.
Indeed, it's all about good laps in these 40 minutes. Just gotta put your head down because it's a sprint race, but it's not a instant sprint race. It's a race against the clock as well, and the other drivers. And remember, 4-round season, so you do gotta be a bit dicey because all these rounds matter.
Yeah, you're right. It's a 4-race season. You can tune in the next next Saturday nights here in the U.S. to watch these Canadian eRacing Challenge races live here on Apex Racing TV. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, get that notification bell so you can get notified for our next broadcast. And we have so many on the list. It's pretty unbelievable how many shows we put on, Austin.
Yeah, we got multiple broadcast teams all around the world. We got the Aussie. We have a bunch of Aussie teams and competitors that love to sign us up to broadcast some of their IMSA races and the V8 Supercars series that you can watch on the iRacing Esports Network as well. A bunch of European broadcasters. And, well, we're starting our more American broadcasters as we are starting to get in over a year of experience here in the good old US of A. Still no Oval Series yet.
Yeah, it's something I do know a little better, but I've become very fond of road racing. I actually prefer road racing now. You take a look at Curtis Fox really trying to, make a move.
Oh, DeBenedetto and Hargrove dicing at it. Hargrove got a very bad exit coming out of the bus stop. He went very wide, and DeBenedetto looking down the inside through the long curve, but unable to complete the move right there. But this group of 4 so close to each other.
A lot of battles here on the track. We're taking a look at the battle for 5th.
Rosicki, Fox, Hargrove, and D with Exton and Block right behind him. This might become a 6-car battle for 5th place. As, late dive for Rosicki, down onto the inside. Late dive for Hargrove. I'm sorry, they're very similar cars as they are teammates.
Yeah, that would make sense for the similarities between the paint schemes.
This gets the leading car, but what a move by Hargrove heading into the heel. And De Benedetto right behind him as well. And oh, Federico is out. The only McLaren in the field is out of the race. What's happened to him?
Oh, he's in the pits. Oh, you hate to see it.
Well, he's just appeared up there. That means he teleported up into the pits. So let's get a replay of the only McLaren in the field. Well, he's all by himself. The McLaren is one of the most tricky cars, but on the straights, it's a blast, and it breathes fire, too, which is awesome. And it just gets into the grass, and oh, well, he's kept it out of the wall right there. I think he may have pulled over and just didn't want to finish this one out. As De Benedetto jumps up into the front of this three-way pack, and he's up there in 5th place. Benedetto, Exton, and Fox. And what's happened to the rest of these guys in this group?
You know, they're starting to kind of fall off a little bit. And, you know, that's, 17 minutes into this race. Some drivers maybe are getting more into a rhythm, maybe find some more speed on the track. Maybe some are just kind of keeping at an even pace, which is nothing wrong with an even pace. But
The Audi block spins it around and almost collects another car. He needs to stay in the middle of the track, and more cars go off. The Mercedes of Hill goes off. No, that's a laps car. That is Sortino. He's off.
yeah, it's an unfortunate, circumstance that happened there. But take a look at the lead, the battle for first. Farouk Manzar trying to catch up to Mac. Last lap was just a little bit quicker than Mac.
They're both flashing the lights. Farouk is just riding on the lights, and Crocky is just like, I know you're flashing lights. I can flash them too. Usually people utilize these light flashes as letting lap cars ahead of them know. Farouk is just flashing his lights as just probably annoying Mac and try to force a mistake, which I'm expecting might be brought up post-race, so they won't need to be doing that anymore. But the night is beginning to fall, so these lights are going to be might become a sight to behold, as they might become used for actual eyesight and racing, which racing at the night is completely different than racing at day. And oh, we got a car that's being spun in the long curve. It was, oh, he's on the apex now. And that was Ross Sortino. Just got onto the grass, car upset. Big old slide, and he almost collects these two. He's sitting in the middle of the track. Now he's gotten still on the apron. And oh, the avoiding action from these guys. Question from NC in the chat. Motorsport is being raced at the final round of the season, as you can start to see the lights on the track are starting to come on, and they're actually impacting the sight, so the time is going faster than 1-to-1 time here, and we're going to get all aspects of this race as we pass the halfway mark. So what a great way. Halfway in sunset, halfway in the dark. It's nighttime at Watkins Glen.
Racing under the lights. For a couple of spots to have lights. Some great racing, as you saw. The slow car got in the way. There are lights in the straightaway, unlike Daytona International Speedway, where there's lights all around the track. But I really love night racing. I've seen it many times, and it is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, final race is in 4 weeks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about the when. Yeah, it's in 4 weeks. It's a final race of the season. Which is
every Saturday.
If you ask me for a day, I don't have a calendar on me. I'm sorry.
The 23rd of May.
Thank you, Al. Thank you.
Finish off the month of May.
Yeah.
On board with Farouk Manzar. That number 7, he's been right on Mac's tail the whole time of this race. he just, trying to buy his time, try to find a good opportunity to make the pass, with the just over 21 minutes down as they complete lap number 12.
Yeah, 29-year-old and the 25-year-old battling out for the lead as we're looking at Travis Hill and Block, both the Audis going at it with each other.
Yeah,
Travis Hill, 31 from Ottawa, Ontario, and his competitor Block up there from Pembroke, Ontario. So both these guys from Ontario, but Travis, the only one, is in his 30s, as his competitor Block is 26.
Yeah, just a small age gap, but there is a big age gap in this whole race. But I tell you what, you see some really good drivers with a lot of experience in the real racing world as they can converting over to the e-racing world for a little bit till racing gets back to so-called normal. But Travis Hill, I tell you what, driving some good lines, really kind of buying his time, not really in the shot to get 8th, but he's just going to try to defend Block. And, it's really exciting. Some good racing here, back and forth.
Yeah, start of the race very chaotic, but now that the track's kind of separated from each other, all these drivers are separating off, but two cars that are not separated one bit is Farouk Mansard and Max Rocky. Farouk looking out to the inside, then around the outside. He's just trying to sell these guys, sell any type of move, and Max defended that one perfectly as Farouk had a masterful run coming out of the hill as we got 2 more corners to go. And to start this final leg of the race with 17 minutes left here at Watkins Glen.
19 drivers currently on the lead lap. You see Manzar really kind of buying his time, looking at the opportunities there. If you're 3rd and 4th wearing a crisp, you really want to see them start battling so you can kind of catch up, as Crisp just ran a new session best lap time for him. Very nice lap for him.
Yeah, 1:46.36. As Max and Farouk are slowing up a lot, as these two are battling it out hard as they race down the straight. Farouk looking down to the inside, but nowhere to go into the braking zone, and he has to slide right back in with behind Mac.
He's trying everything he can, but Mac is doing a great job at defending. Being in that lead, you just gotta defend, take the line away, and not block. Just race clean and try to just hold him off the clean way without having any contact. Because if you get some contact, 3rd, 4th are right there.
Yeah, Matt Corrance, just been in control of this race. Now here's the more flashes from Farouk Manzar. Some fans are a fan of it, trying to get into the heads, and some fans like me are very against flashing the lights when you're behind him and it's just for position.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of flashing lights because you never know when you flash them and they don't turn back on. So you really don't want that to happen, even though it says virtual and it probably will never happen, but you never know.
Yeah, in real life we have to worry about bulbs going out.
Yeah, that's the nice thing with this e-racing. The bulb will never go out unless the computer shuts down.
Yeah, that's not that good.
You'd really hate to see that.
Especially when it comes to you. When it comes to everyone else, you'll probably be like, yes. When it comes to you, not so much.
Yeah, you take a look at, this field, it's starting to, spread out a little bit, but we got a couple good battles. But take a look at Nathan Block, having a great race into the top 10, trying to catch up to Hill, Travis Hill. These guys have been, right next to each other the whole time, Austin, and, racing each other very clean. And we're just really impressed by these two drivers.
Yeah, and the driver I really want to talk about is Yannick Lupin, sitting down in 14th place right now. He is the biggest mover in the field so far. The 30-year-old from Quebec, racing for Lupin Racing. He races currently in SPC. He's been racing there for 3 seasons, and he's finished top 5 in the production class last season. And currently the hardest charger so far in this field.
I done a really nice job there. Probably avoided some contact, which you're going to see here at Watkins. Glen definitely going through the S's, but great job. Starting to work their way up to the another position. He can double it and win the race and go 28.
Oh, he's got a long way to go. He's got a minute up the field uh, before he reaches Kronitz and Manzar, as they're sitting 1 and 2, and with just a barely smidge of room between these two guys.
Like the great Jerry Reed in his song Eastbound Down, he's got a long way to go and a short time to get there as we go to 13 minutes to go here at the Canadian eRacing Challenge at the Watkins Glen International.
Fruit getting in the draft, that time falling down even more, but no send into the bus stop. These guys are playing nice so far. A little bit dicey at the start of this race, but we're in that midpoint. It's going to get a bit more strategic between these two drivers as they start to worry about the end of the race with 13 minutes to go. I gotta say, with 5 minutes to go, I expect some mad sends going into a few of these corners.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers are going to use the new term. All the kids are saying lick the stamp and send it. So, we're gonna see if Manzar can do that.
Fans of the timing and scoring, this overlay is the SDK Gaming overlay. Y'all can have your own overlay for yourself when you race on iRacing. Just go to sdk-gaming.co.uk to check it out and get your 14 free day trial. That's SDK Gaming live timing and scoring. It's a beautiful application. Some absolute wizards work their magic right there. And they just released a NASCAR ticker as well, which is a very impressive tool, especially if you're an oval fan and want to get some more experience right there. As, ooh, that lapped car getting in the way. That was a bit scary for Curtis Fox. And that going to pit. Oh, that was Exton.
That was Exton.
I'm surprised Exton was going into the pit lane. Does he have a problem? He's going very slow.
Well, I mean, it is kind of a problem if he's going to the pit lane and he's going to slowly go to a stop.
What's happened?
Oh, having a great, strong race. You hate to see it. You really do.
Did you run out of fuel?
He might have ran out of fuel, and that's very unfortunate because if, you don't make it to the road in time, you're kind of screwed.
I think he ran out of fuel because he just stopped in the middle of pit lane, nowhere to go, and yeah, he is out of fuel.
He's out of gas.
As Nathan and Block are looking around the outside. That's a very strange way to dive through there. But the two Audis running in 9th and 8th now. These two nose to tail like the leaders. So with Exton struggling with fuel, that's bringing on the question. Are more drivers going to be struggling with fuel? And are we going to have to see a pit stop with 10 minutes to go?
Yeah, with 10 minutes to go, if drivers are going to make a pit stop, one of the things that
if they have to make a pit stop, because it's very common that we kind of forget to switch fuel modes in the car.
Yeah, that is correct. If they do make a pit stop, the one thing that you'll see normally in the VRS Sprint Series is the not taking tires. And that's a normal thing. But some of these drivers may not have the iRacing experience to do that, and you might see a little a fall back in the pit time.
Back up front with the leaders between Kronitz and Manzar. Nose to tail with each other, and their gap to Andrew Warren and Crisp are starting to fall just a bit. Because they're getting into crunch time right now between these two drivers.
Yeah, these drivers have been neck and neck, with Mac taking control, leading pretty much the whole race. But you know, Farouk, he looks like he's trying everything he can. But does he have another gear left in the gearbox to get around him?
Yeah, Farouk's been every send that he's tried has been denied, and it's just going to get even wilder now as you see both these guys flying all across the track, trying to get in, just trying to get beside one another, and Farouk's every move that he's tried has been denied as we start going into 8 minutes to go here at the Glen for the first round of the Canadian eRacing Challenge.
Yeah, I tell you what, if race 1's gonna be like race 2, 3, and 4, make sure you tune in next week, same time, Saturday, May 9th. Check us out. It's gonna be another great race. So if you really like what you see, come back and see us again.
Farouko's getting even closer now. 1/10 separates him. He's got a great run through the S's. And defending way down the inside is Kronitz. Farouko's right beside of him. He's being pushed all the way to the grass. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Kronitz keeping his car links advantage. Just barely ahead of Farouko as they race through the bus stop. These two guys been giving it their all.
Yeah, good battles all the way around the track. You've seen Farouk make a couple passing attempts going into the inner loop, and both all times well defended by Mac.
Coming to the heel of the toe of the boot. Very tricky exit, especially on worn tires, so you're going to have to start worrying about those. But the low temperature here in the sunlight, well, in the sunset, is going to help the tire temperatures just a bit as Farouko gets a good run, gets right up beside Kronitz. But they're still racing nose to tail. 7 minutes to go. The flashing of the lights continues.
Trying everything he can as it goes to, yeah, like you said, just over 7 minutes to go. Here comes, under 7, excuse me, Farouk Manzar really putting on the pressure. Is Mac going to slip?
Mac was looking kind of slow, but he's been having to deal with. He's been having to deal with Farouk just looking down every single time on every single corner. He didn't have the best run up through here. The draft is paying very hard for Kronitz, especially on this straight, but he's got just a big enough gap to Farouk, but Farouk thinks he's got the inside as both these guys are flashing lights because there's a lap car ahead of him. And I believe Farouk's just doing that because Farouk believes he can do that.
Yeah, Farouk is, trying everything in the long chapter book of iRacing passes and just trying to find the right section of the book to make the pass.
Clean pass.
Clean pass.
He's not looking in the dark arts book, but he's looking to. That was a very sketchy dive into there. Both of them onto the straight, both start flashing lights. Farouk looking down to the inside as they're heading into the heel, gets right back in there. He's just a bit too far back to make an absolute send out of it. 5 minutes left here at the Glen.
Coming down to crunch time, slow car's gonna get in the way. Oh, slow car got out of the way.
Yeah, I think that is Dominic Dumas getting out of the way of these two hard-charging, hard-battling, gladiating leaders at the front. And while they're doing this, they're slowing each other up as Waring is starting to come into the picture.
Yeah, that's what Warning needs. He needs those drivers to start trying to make some passes so he can get up and battle for the lead.
There was almost a touch between those two right there. They got so close. I think they might have did, but oh my goodness, these guys are just battling hard at the front. A great run for Farouko.
I don't know if you could have put a hair follicle in between there. That was that close.
It was extremely close, and now Farouk looking down to the inside to the bus stop a little bit late on the brakes, had to collect corrective stuff right there. And now he's falling away from Kronitz.
Wow, you've seen that attempt a couple times. I think he's going to have to make a passing attempt on the different part of the track. Mac has defended that corner every single time. Manzar is trying to find the right page in the book to make the pass.
Now with the door open, he couldn't make the pass. With the door closed, he really couldn't make the pass. He tried to make the pass right here, going to the toe, which is a very possible place. The door was wide open for him, but it's just in the braking zone. Kronitz in that Mercedes is just so good.
He's making that car as wide as possible. Two different manufacturers, 1-2, with the BMW of Manzar in second. So it's cool to see, you know, two makes of cars, and when and the majority of them are either a Mercedes or an Audi.
Yeah, BMW and Mercedes out in front. We got a car turned around at the very last corner. I believe he just wanted to watch the spectacle and just get out of the way after the unfortunate mistake, because this battle up front, less than 3 minutes to go here at the Glen. 2 laps left.
Yeah, sometimes when you're having a rough day on the track, you just want to park and watch, you know, and I wouldn't say I've completely been in those shoes, but it happens to the best of us.
Farouk getting a good drive, not looking down to the inside. He's thinking of a strategy for that last lap pass on Matt Kronitz.
Manzar doesn't get the best run out of the outer loop going into the boot, so he gets a really good entrance in there, see if he can get the out.
Kronitz running into the grass just a little bit, being slow on the exit. Here comes Farouk looking down to the inside, but it's not good enough as Kronitz holds him off the flash of anger of Farouk. Is he going to try to send it into the heel? No, he is not.
We got slow car's in the way. Could get in the way. If he's like the other cars, he'll get out of the way. We'll see what happens. About 2.5 second gap between first and the potentially last car, 16th.
Here at Watkins for the Canadian drag racing down the straight, side by side into turn 1. Kronitz leading out. Manzar just dancing on that bumper. They both fly out wide before screaming into the S's. Kronitz and Manzar nose to tail as they fly up the hill and now into the draft. This is the best overtaking spot that Manzar has been having all day. They dive down to the inside. A little bit of contact between them. Manzar around the outside. Is he going to be last 3 breakers? No, he is not. Still door-to-door racing between these two.
Manzar tried to go around the outside, but not quite enough of a run to make the pass.
There was a little bit of car contact between the two, because I saw Farouk take a very, very sudden move all the way to the other side of the track as both these guys pass that parked car right there into the toe. Farouk sends it into there, unable to make that move stick. He's just got 4 corners left to go. Kronitz and Manzar drag racing down to the hill. Here comes Farouk looking down to the inside, and he's sold a dummy right there. And Farouk's getting an absolute line through there now as they're coming out to one of the most tricky corners. Is Farouk going to try to make a move of the century right there? Going into 3 quarters to go. They're nose to tail. They're dancing. They're squabbling. They're looking down to the inside. Then they're looking down to the outside. Kronitz defending, driving with his mirrors right now. 1 corner to go. Is it going to be Kronitz or Manzar? Racing nose to tail. Farouk looking all the way to the grass, all the way to the wall, and it's going to be Kronitz leading from green flag to checkers. Matt Kronitz takes the win in round 1 of the Canadian eRacing Championship, followed by Farouk Manzar. And Andrew Waring in second and third place. And
Anderson
guess
trying to get up
there's
to
still action
Sanders.
on track. Anderson in that Audi's got a bit of front nose damage as he was in a very close fight. But we got a car being spun around. That is Block. Nathan Block is spun around and he's gonna try to do a 3-point turn at the end as he getting overtaken by James Block sitting in 10th place now. As Sanders is 36 behind him, so what could have been a 8th place finish is going to be a top 10 finish for Nathan Block here in round 1 of 4.
I tell you what, Austin, a 40-minute race here at the Watkins Glen International, race 1 of the next of 4 in the Canadian eRacing Challenge. I tell you what, if this has, this race shows anything that's going to happen with the next 3 races, make sure you tune in because, we had one fantastic race and we have more racing coming to you next Saturday.
Yeah, next race is going to be at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it's going to be very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, Gilles Villeneuve, a very tough track. It's pretty much a straightaway and a chicane, a straightaway and a chicane.
Indeed, it is. Here is your results. Take it away, Avery.
I tell you what, that number 42 Core Sport with Ronan Simsport, Matt Cornich taken away first. Farouk Manzar gave everything he had to take home second. Andrew Waring third. Martin Crisp, the XRC Racing, fourth place for him. Justin D. Benedetto in fifth. Then Curtis Fox, Stefan Rosinski, Travis Hill, Erwin James, and Nathan Block. Rounding out your top 10, Gavin Sanders taking it home with 11th. Craig Anderson, 12th. Yannick Lupin in 13th. Jacob Exton, 14th. Followed by Scott Hargrove, Bill Swires, Adam Misbin, and Daryl Timmers, rounding out the top 18. As you go into 19th, you have Trevor Hill, and 20th, Sam Fellows, Craig Daly, Dominic DeMaris, Zachary Vanier. Sorry if we butchered the names. We got Ross Ortino, 24th, Kevin King, 25th, Jen Gray, the only women in the field, in 26th. We got Oliver in 27th, Alex Federico in 28th, and the round out the field, Kurt Whitmore in 29th. And you said his name earlier. I'm not even gonna try. You got Remo in 30th and Jean Christopher Trahan in 31st. 20 laps down. We had 15 on the lead lap out of the 31 competitors. Austin. Words are tough. That was some great racing here on Apex Racing TV for the Canadian eRacing Challenge. See who we have in the booth. We have Andrew Waring. We're going to get to Andrew. Hey, Andrew Waring, it's Avery up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic. What a race for you, finishing a final spot on the podium. Take this 40-minute race and throw it in your eyes. How did it go for you?
A little disappointing, to be honest. I really thought I could have hung up there with the 2 leaders. I think we just kind of anticipated how hot the track was going to be, and I kind of just didn't have the pace. But if they did any mistakes, we would have been right there for sure.
Yeah, you were really right on, the tail of Farouk Manzar. He's been on iRacing, quite a while. What's your iRacing experience? Are you relatively new or experienced?
Yeah, rookie. Got it in November. Don't really have a lot of time to play it. I'm still working, but it's a lot of little tricks, so it's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Welcome to the club. It's a pretty fun thing to be a part of. For the unfortunate reason we can't have real racing, so we have the e-racing. Next week we go to Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian track on the circuit. Is that a track that you're a fan of?
I think every Canadian's a fan of it, so looking forward to it. It'll be it's tough to get the setup right. It clearly makes a big difference when you got a 40-minute race. There was one point in the middle of this race I really thought I had it because I started reeling them in, but then they stretched it back out, and I couldn't really get any closer than 2 seconds. But
Yeah, that was such a great race for you. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
yeah, just want to thank. I actually had a buddy of mine spotting, Spencer Todd. I had my other team, Unorthodox Motorsports, provide me with a tune, and I want to thank Apex V2R for putting this on, and you guys for hosting it and broadcasting it.
All right, we appreciate you jumping in. That's Andrew Waring. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Waring.
Awesome, Waring. That's Andrew Waring, finishing third on the podium. We're going to see him next week at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And we got our winner in here. Mackenzie, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome performance for you today, taking home the win. You had Farouk right on your tail the whole time. What did it take to keep him behind you?
Well, actually, I was laughing to myself most of the time because just trying to focus forward. But I think I've been flashed less at Mardi Gras than I have in that race.
Yeah, I tell you what, that was a performance. A couple of the people in chat were saying they weren't a big fan of it, but you know, he tried everything he could. But you were able to defend so well. Next week we go to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve with a total different track than Watkins Glen. Are you excited for that, being the first Canadian track?
It's French Canadian, so it's not quite Canadian, but yeah, it should be fun. It was still a good race. Farouk drove a really good race. Can't say much else besides that. Thanks to Mark and Apex V2R as well for putting it on. I think we put on a good show.
Oh, you guys put on a great show. Before we let you go, does anybody like to thank?
Yeah, Mark and Apex.
Sorry, you already said that, man. That's the second broadcast of the day.
Yeah, I got you. And everybody that came out, and you guys for doing the commentary.
I tell you what, it doesn't hurt when you have a bunch of talented drivers for that. That's Mackenzie, your winner here at the first round of the Canadian Racing Challenge at Watkins Glen International. Joined up with second place Farouk Manzar. Farouk, man, what a great battle you had today. Couldn't quite get the lead, but you tried everything you had. How did it go for you?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Race went good. I thought I had him in qualify, and then the last 3 minutes he got me by a tenth. So it was a good battle, though. I only had him in a couple of spots, then he had me in a couple of other spots, and just passing without making contact. That was.
Yeah, I remember watching you years ago. Oh, probably 2013 with the V8 Supercar. It's really cool to see your name back out on the track. You know, we know you have a lot of iRacing experience, and you go to a track that is familiar to all the Canadian drivers at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Are you excited for round number 2?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure I'll be able to make that, but I'm gonna try my best.
Awesome. Before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Just my iRacing team, Dilligaf Racing, for providing me with a great setup, and
Awesome. Congratulations on that second place finish here at the first round of the Canadian eRacing Challenge. And that's Farouk Manzar, second place.
thanks, guys.
What a great battle we had here today for round number 1 of the Canadian eRacing Challenge. We'll be back the next couple weeks for some more racing of the 4-round series. But we had a great battle. We're excited for the opportunity to cover such a talented driving crew. Really, a 40-minute race, part sprint, part endurance race. But we go on the next through the 3 weeks. Starting at Gilles Villeneuve, Mid Ohio, then Mosport. Some great racing. I've been real excited for that. Austin Knight had a couple technical issues, so he's unable to join me. But we had a great time covering the race. We're going to be next week at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'd like to thank all our listeners, viewers. Either you watched on the live timing or on the YouTube or Facebook channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification, as we'll be back next week for round number 2 of the Canadian eRacing Challenge at 8:15 Central Time, 9:15 Eastern, for Austin Knight. And Dennis Branch, I'm Avery McDonald. Night, night.